Hey, Ocklawahaboy Rocks here. So I'm going to kind of press pause on the Idaho, Oregon, Washington trip and take you to Utah with me. Made another trip out west, did some neat things in Utah, and one was just so much fun I could not wait to bring it to you. There's probably a couple of months left of the Northwest trip. So we're gonna hop over to Utah, going to do a fee dig. I'm gonna talk really highly of it. I didn't get a break-in price, not affiliated with the outfit, but I just thought it was so cool. You're gonna hear me gush a little bit. So let's get out to Milford, Utah. Hey, Ocklawahaboy Rocks. I am sitting in the parking lot of the Sunshine Market in Milford, Utah, waiting on a claim owner to meet me here and lead me out to his bubble opal claim. And I hope to know more about exactly what bubble opal means. But I'm going to go on a fee dig out there and find out what that stuff is. It's also called highlight opal, bacon opal, and like I said, I don't really know exactly what of that is a trade name and what of it is accurate speaking of the mineral or what. So gonna ask some of those questions and see how much I'm allowed to get on video and how much I find. So we'll see you out there. All right, here I am at the Bubble Opal claim north of Milford, Utah. And I got permission to show whatever I want, talk about whatever I want. I think Mark's going to be on camera in a little bit. I paid the normal rate to be here, so I'm going to get my bucket of stuff and have a little conversation and get on down the road. So this stuff is all over. This site has been worked for a long time. There's varying types of material all over. So here's the fault line. They tell me this was a geothermal event, and it's the only place where opal was formed in this manner. And I'll let them tell you some more about that. But basically, it's all over the place. I'm allowed a 5-gallon bucket. I could fill that up in just a couple of minutes. They're actually here collecting material for their jewelry business. They do high-end cabochons out of this. So, like I said, I could just pick up plenty of material, but I'm going to try and get down to one of the shelves. It forms in these shelves, and someone left one a little bit exposed here, so I'm going to try and work that out where you can see it. Okay, here I'm down to some fresh stuff. There we are. I think it's in the sun good enough that you should be able to see it. These white layers seem to be what are the most desirable. So I'm going to see if I can break a piece or two out of there. Well, that was not as successful as what I had hoped. I wanted to break a whole big slab out, but since I broke it out, I'm going to take it. Okay, I broke a couple of decent-ish pieces out. So I guess it forms this way, and you get those little almost stalactite looking things. But I think I'm shattering this more than I'm doing much else. But there's some cabs in that. So there's some nice pieces that I found just laying around. Get some water on this one. So I think I'm going to turn my attention towards picking up pieces. And there's supposed to be some yellow stuff down there I will probably go look for. But this is kind of like the Wonderstone place. I'll even show you when I go back over to the truck. You're literally parking on the stuff here. Let me go around and look for some stuff. Okay. Try and stay out of my shadow as much as possible. Let's take a look at some of this stuff. Not really what I'm looking for. That piece holds some promise. That piece is a maybe. All right, I'm going to put you down for a minute and just kind of look through and bring you back when I've found stuff. Okay, I've just been looking around this little mound of dirt here, and I've picked up several interesting pieces. This piece has the nice banded striping. Here we've got a piece that's more clear. This one has a good clear layer in it. I really like this one. It's got the wildfire or bacon pattern. Really nice colors, so that'll come with. Clear. I'm just kind of making little piles around. That one probably won't come with me. So just a really neat variety of stuff, and I'm going to keep looking. Probably going to take a couple pieces like this. There's no lapidary value in it, and I really like these formations that they get as it forms. It's these nice sun. I like that. These really white Jimmy pieces. I don't know if that'll be solid enough to cab, but you can see some color play there. All right, I'm going to take a bit of a hike down here to the area they called the yellow area and see what's down here. I'm not taking any tools with me at all because I'm 3/4, 4/5 of the way full on my bucket, so just a few surface pieces of the different material will fill me up. Okay, here I am at this other pit. And it is definitely more yellow. All this gravel has busted up opal. And yeah, I didn't need tools. So I guess here's the wall it's getting worked out of. Here's all the tailings. Okay, I'm going to see if I can find some Jimmy-ish stuff in this pile. So here's what we've got going on here. This is very pretty stuff. I think I prefer the one with the reds and the purples in it, but I want to grab a few pieces of this to have a representation. Wall is facing the wrong direction to get sun on it for the most part, but you can see layers and the different material all the way through here. Just layer after layer of this stuff. Okay, yellow pit accomplished. Headed back up the hill to put this stuff in with my bucket, see how much room I have left, and there's some other piles that I can go through. This is Mark. He and his wife own this bubble opal claim here a little bit north of Milford, Utah. So he's been letting me go around, helping me find some good stuff. So he's got some really good stuff here, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about it and about the property here.
Yeah, we're located just outside Milford, Utah. This area was formed by ancient hot springs, and luckily we had just the right geological conditions happen with granite underneath the ground and lots of heat producing the silica that came up through the fractures on these fault lines and producing just beautiful material. Take a look at some of the banded opal here. This call this our autumn sunset. This is our candy opal. Got the reds. Just different minerals that would come up with the water would deposit these different colors. Guess we should have these all wet.
Their colors are showing up pretty good, just like they are. Okay, I paused you so that we could grab a water bottle. So now
see how it brings the colors out. It's a candy opal. Ken found this deposit. Ken Shelley. That you can see a lot of it has like flames coming up.
So what are some of the different minerals that you have in there that give it the colors?
Well, we've got a lot of sulfur for the yellows, irons, cobalt, tungsten. And the list is long. I think we have a list of 20 different minerals coming up, but that's what gives it all the different color variations. Then we have over here where we isolate some of the layers, and we get the halite with the nanospheres in it, giving it just really nice color.
Yeah, those are really nice. And the little micro fractures in it don't really take away from anything. It kind of adds to the character. Yep. So let's pick this one here up. That little one.
Yeah,
that one looks really interesting to me.
It's got a lot of depth to it.
Yeah, it's got those flames in it. Now, are those plumes similar to agate, or is that a completely different thing?
It does have plumes that are formed by the bacteria, and the minerals that come up. So you'll see, on these, the plumes coming up. And if you get a clear piece, see right here, see those plumes right there? So cutting it that way, you get those clear plumes coming up. Let's see, here's another. We have a lot of colors in the clear, so this has got a lot of the pinks. And if you look at it, you can see how the light refracts in there.
Yeah, that's really cool. Got a little opaque in there. Flip it over, so you can see where that color comes through from the back and gives it a neat little backing almost.
Let's see.
Have we looked at this one yet? I don't think we've looked at it. That one's a cool one. So this one, that one was cut kind of 90 degrees to the other one, so it cuts across the layers. And you've got some little voids, some of the natural voids in there that never filled in.
This one we did this morning.
Oh, that's some cool color.
In that.
Right in there.
Yeah.
I don't know if you'll see, I'm sure you'll see that on the camera probably. There's enough of it there. Neat stuff. And then what's this one over here with the blue? Is that from here?
So you can do a doublet where you put a backing.
Okay, it's a doublet, all right.
This one here had the clear glass put over the clear, and it just really makes that pop.
Mm-hmm. That is some neat stuff. I hadn't been cabbing too much lately, but I definitely will when I get home.
Yeah, you see the bubbles that came up on that.
Oh, that has a pattern almost like you'll see in some of the fossilized corals.
Yeah.
It's what that reminds me of. That is a neat pattern.
Here's one done with the flames.
Very cool. Okay, so thanks for showing me all that. So if someone wants to come out here, they can find you on social media, right?
Yep, I'm under Rock Dreams LLC on Facebook, Instagram. You can also find us in a lot of different other rock groups like Rockhounders, Utah Rockhounding Community. So you can also just call me or send me a text at 801-448-8708 and just make an appointment to come dig. We're glad to have you come out.
All right. So I showed y'all where we met this morning. So he'll meet you there and you can come out and enjoy this view of the mountains and sifting through all this material, breaking some rock yourself, and have a good time. So thank you very much, Mark.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Okay, so here is more than half of the material that I brought back. I've got a couple more boxes. You know, I can only get out and show you so much. So this is some really cool material. I love these formations that some of it got. I'm gonna do some dunking here. Take a look at some of it wet. Have to rinse Tigger's water bucket out before I'm done. So, you know, some like this I think will make some really good, the clear highlight opal cabs. Then I've got some other that's more, I think, going to be this bacon or candy pattern. Got some of the yellow. You saw most all of this in the video. But I don't know how one decides what pieces to cut. But I guess that's next on my agenda, is to figure out and cut some of this. So I'm going to put you down and start working some of it. I'm probably going to bring you back over here to the table pretty often as we learn about this stuff together. So I sliced through this pretty quick on the Great Western saw. And what I'm going for here is just to look at the different ways you can cut the material. So you've got the option here to slice it down these lines and then cab it so that you're looking at mostly one layer or another of this, or I can slice it further this way and then cab where the top of the cab is kind of the view you're seeing here with the dome. So I'm going to try a couple of different ways. I've got a couple of little fractures in here. I don't know if you can see them. One's here and one's here. So when I slice through this piece this way, it may just kind of fall apart into three pieces, and that may be, you know, kind of what I cab. It may dictate it for me. And then this piece I think is going to be the one that I try and cab where you see the cross section. Alright, so I'm going to go start doing that and I'll get back with you. Alright, the other piece is slabbed out and in the kitty litter, so I can't make my preforms out of it quite yet. So I've pulled a couple of pieces as different to that last one as I could find, and I'm gonna see what I can do with them. So I haven't really belabored these blades that I use. I can't remember what the measurement is. This is my little 4-inch Raytex saw, and that blade's about paper thin. I use that on some of this little stuff. It doesn't leave a lot of gouges in the rock, and with this slightly higher end material, you can put the rock in there and split it without wasting too much material. All right, here are these 3 pieces that I've cut up. There was a variety of different fractures that influenced the way they were cut. This one, that was a really cool piece. Had another layer like this over on this bottom side, or what's the bottom, the way I'm holding it. But it flaked right off, and I had to cut this big old thick piece to keep this one from flaking off. So I'll probably try and polish that a little bit and leave it as a chunk, maybe put it up in there. This is another just leftover chunk. Don't know what I want to do with it. So then I've got some this orientation, and then some that I've sliced along the layers, different thicknesses. This didn't end up being fabulous. There's not a lot of clarity to it, but I'll see what it looks like cut. It's milky stuff. I don't know what it's going to look like. So I'm looking forward to doming some of this and seeing what I've got. So I'm going to go in there and probably use the silicon carbide belts, and maybe a little bit on my one hard diamond wheel that I've got, and see if I can shape these. I think the silicon carbide hard wheels will just shatter these pretty quickly, so I don't want to use it. All right, I'm going to go into the cab wheels. All right, I have finished some cabs out of this Milford bubble opal. A little afraid to
put them on the powder cerium oxide on the carpet wheel or the leather wheel. So I used a belt like this. That's a pre-charged cerium oxide belt. These things are quite pricey. I invested in an 8-inch one, a 6-inch one, and a 6-inch narrow one for all the different machines I had when I first started this. And I hadn't priced them since all this inflation stuff has been going on, but I've got a couple of $100 in 3 belts. So I pull them out when I'm using delicate porous material and I don't want to drive a bunch of powdered cerium oxide in. Use a light touch on those and they work a lot better. I'm about to show you the cabs, but I'd say I'm about maybe 60% to the potential with this material. I'm learning how to pick the pieces, how to cut the pieces to get them right, how to get them shaped and polished correctly, and see the cracks ahead of time to work around them, all that kind of stuff. So I've got some beautiful pieces here, and I think I'm about 60% of the way there to what you can really get. So let me take you off the tripod and bring you over to the table. Here are these cabochons, pretty much freehand. I did use a template on a couple of them, but they're pretty much freehand cabs based on kind of what the rock wanted to be. I've got 2 of them kind of across the grain so you can see those patterns. Most of them have the layers running this way. So I am going to put them in the light box and we'll look at them a little bit more. Alright, I experimented with all sorts of tripod situations to try and not do this handheld, but the only way I can really see and pay attention to the focus is have it right here in front of me. So this was one of those plain white pieces I showed you. It did okay. I was kind of hoping these layers would kind of come out a little bit more in the cab, but they didn't really. And it's cracked, but you know, not too horrible. This one could use some more time polish. I think I need to go back to about 600 grit and redo it. But you can see all those layers really, really well in it. Flip it over, look at the other side. You can also see that crack really well on that side. Now, if I was wire wrapping this, I could do something with the wrap to pretty well hide that. But, you know, those layers almost look like something you'd see in a jasper or something. They're just gorgeous, the way that silica was deposited over the years. I'm pretty happy with it overall. Now I've put these 2 pieces together to show you how they were in the rough, where I cut them off of. So the cut would have been right there. This one just wanted to get shaped a little bit different. It does have some pretty bad fractures down there in the lower right portion. It took the polish pretty well. I only domed one side of it. But again, I like it pretty well. Alright, here is the one I used the template on. Clear piece, obvious crack once I got into it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pick this up, but this is getting more into what I'm looking for with the play off those, I think he called them nanospheres, those little feature, bubble-like features in the silica. You can see those kind of reflecting back just a little bit. It's a little more obvious in person, but kind of right in off my thumbnail you can see them. Oh, not as clear a piece as you're really looking for to make these stand out, but decent cab. Okay, I've got two set together here again to show you how they were in the rough. So I just split these off of each other and cabbed them. So now we're getting to the ones that I'm starting to find pretty interesting. I think that's got some great texture to it and some great light play. I wouldn't call that color play, but it's a play of light and those microscopic fractures and spheres, nodules, bubbles, whatever they are in there. And getting a little better yet. I love this little vein looking thing running through here. That's not a crack, that's a feature in the minerals. This piece has lots of light play. I love that there's kind of more of a red layer behind it that shows through. Took a pretty decent polish, so I'm pretty happy with that piece. I did not show you this piece in the rough. It was together something like this, just about the size of these cabs. I split it apart on the thin saw, and I am pretty impressed with that, fractures and all. And this material, the fractures almost make it better in some cases because of the play of light that you get. So really pretty yellows in there. And then this piece, this side is okay. If it wasn't for the other side, I'd probably really like it. But this side, this is the best one that you can see. If I can get it to focus, there's sort of focused. See that light play? Yes, it's pretty cracked. I love those layers of color. Got some larger spheres in the red, and then those nanospheres, he calls them. And that's kind of getting closer to actual color play. All right, going and collecting bubble opal, north of Milford, Utah. I had seen this on Facebook a lot. Mark puts himself out there pretty often in the different rockhounding groups. So if you're into rockhounding on Facebook and the Western groups, you see Mark Marriott's posts about his bubble opal claim. And I kind of downplayed it in my mind for a bit. I never really thought the price was outrageous. It was just not a priority in my first 4 or 5 trips to Utah. But it's going to be a priority for my next one when I'm in the area. I'm going to kind of work my way through some of this material I've got. I'm going to learn it and get a little better knowledge of it, better at picking out the good pieces, and go back. There's a lot more material in the ground. This is a material, if you were into cutting and selling, I think you could make a little bit of money on this material. But yeah, really great experience, great people, great material. It works really well, and I can't wait to get back and do it again. So I will see you next time.